Daniel Carter had spent 15 years building the Chicago division of Hayes Global Solutions into the company's most profitable operation. He had started as a junior analyst and worked his way through every level of the organization. He understood the clients, the employees, the systems, and the challenges that executives often saw only in reports. Daniel was also a single father. Every morning he prepared breakfast for his 12-year-old daughter, Emma. Before taking her to school and driving downtown to the headquarters, he rarely talked about his personal sacrifices. To him, providing a stable life for Emma was enough. The company changed after Victoria Hayes became CEO. Victoria was intelligent, ambitious, and determined to leave her mark. She wanted faster growth, bigger profits, and complete control over every major decision. Daniel respected her ambition, but he often disagreed with the way she treated employees. One Monday morning, Victoria summoned him to her office. Daniel entered carrying a folder. "You wanted to see me." Victoria didn't look up from her computer. "Yes, close the door." Daniel did as she asked. Victoria finally looked at him. "I've been reviewing the division's performance." Daniel nodded. "We exceeded the quarterly target by 22%. "I know, then, why did you call me here?" Victoria leaned back. "Because you seem to have forgotten something." "Daniel, wait, did you work for me?" The words were delivered with deliberate emphasis. Daniel remained calm. "I understand my position." "Do you?" Victoria stood and walked toward the window. "Lately, you've been making decisions without waiting for my approval, only when the decisions were necessary to protect the division. That isn't your authority." Daniel looked at her with respect. "The clients trusted the process we've built." Victoria turned sharply. "You're an employee, Daniel." Daniel didn't argue before he could respond. The office door opened. Chairman Robert Hayes entered. Victoria immediately smiled. "Dad." Perfect timing. Robert looked between them. "What's happening?" Victoria crossed her arms. "I was reminding Daniel that he works for me." Robert's expression changed. Daniel quietly stepped back. Robert looked directly at his daughter. Actually, he paused. "You work for him?" Victoria stared at him. "What?" Robert placed a thick legal folder on her desk. "Open it." Victoria frowned. "Dad, what is this?" "The ownership agreement." She opened the folder and began reading. Her expression slowly changed. Daniel remained silent. Robert continued. 15 years ago, when this company nearly collapsed, Daniel personally negotiated the emergency financing that saved us. The founder rewarded him with controlling shares. Victoria looked at Daniel. "No." Robert nodded. "Yes." Victoria's hands trembled. "You're telling me Daniel owns this company?" "Majority ownership," Robert replied. Daniel finally spoke. "I never wanted the position to define me." Victoria looked stunned. Robert added quietly, "You were appointed CEO because I believed you could lead." But Daniel has always been the person with the final ownership authority. Victoria looked back at the document. Everything she thought she knew about the company had just changed, and Daniel had been standing quietly beside her desk the entire time. Victoria remained frozen beside her desk, staring at the ownership agreement. The signatures were unmistakable. Her father's name appeared beside the company's founder, and Daniel's name was listed as the controlling shareholder. She slowly looked at Daniel. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" Daniel remained calm. "Because you never asked." Victoria shook her head. "I was your CEO." Daniel nodded. "Yes, and you allowed me to give you orders." "I allowed you to lead." Robert stepped closer. "There is a difference." Victoria looked at her father. "You knew this whole time I did. And you never told me." Robert sighed. "Because I wanted to see what kind of leader you would become when you believed nobody was above you." Victoria lowered her eyes. Daniel opened his folder and removed several reports. "These are the decisions you made during the last 6 months." Victoria looked at them. Every report showed rising employee turnover, canceled contracts, and declining client satisfaction. Daniel wasn't accusing her. He was simply showing her the truth. "You've been focused on control," he said, "but leadership isn't control." Victoria swallowed. "Then what is it?" "Responsibility." The room became quiet. Daniel continued. "People don't need a boss who reminds them that they work for her. They need a leader who makes them want to work with her." Victoria looked embarrassed. "I treated you like an employee. You treated me like someone beneath you." Daniel's words were gentle, but they hurt Victoria. Remembered every time she had dismissed his suggestions, interrupted him in meetings, and criticized him in front of younger executives. "I was wrong." Daniel nodded yes. Robert looked at his daughter. "You still have a chance to fix it." Victoria turned toward Daniel. "What do you want?" Daniel smiled slightly. Nothing for myself, then. What? Give employees a voice? Stop promoting people, because they're connected to executives.
And judge performance honestly.
Victoria nodded slowly. I can do that. Daniel extended his hand. Then we're done here. Victoria shook it, but before Daniel left. She stopped him, Daniel. He turned, will you stay? Daniel thought about his daughter waiting for him at home. Yes, he said. But not because you work for me? Victoria smiled faintly, then why? Because this company is worth protecting. Several months later, the atmosphere inside the Chicago headquarters had changed. Employees were encouraged to speak openly. Promotions were based on performance. Client relationships improved, and the division's profits began rising again. At the next leadership meeting, Victoria stood before the executives. I used to think being CEO meant everyone worked for me. She looked at Daniel. I was wrong. Daniel smiled. Victoria continued. Leadership means working for the people who trust you. The room applauded. Robert watched proudly, and Daniel quietly returned to his seat. Knowing that the company was finally being led the way its founder had intended,